My name is Karen Russo. I'm president of the Wrongful Death and Injury Institute. I've been repeatedly asked of late to make some quick, informal videos for families of inmates that are currently incarcerated in the jail and prison system in this country, who are sick or dying and not receiving the health care that they are in need of, and for those families whose loved ones have died while in custody. These informal videos we're going to be calling our To the Point segment. They're not going to be in any particular order, but I will make a concerted effort to do one of these a few times a week, addressing key issues that need to be highlighted or talking about specific issues that you may want to talk about. You can email me with your thoughts and concerns through our website or our Facebook page. Also, follow us on Twitter and Facebook for important updates. And check out our website for information, videos, and the work the Institute does. The first issue we want to address is a result of comments made by families and attorneys in multiple states that have been involved in lawsuits, who believe that the size of any settlement and outcome must necessarily force a city or a Department of Corrections to re-examine how inmates are protected and treated. Comments such as this give an autobiographical sketch of one's lack of knowledge of the system overall and how it works individually and collectively with other players that are involved with the system. Comments made by families and attorneys that they want to be sure that nothing like whatever happened to their loved one ever happens again indicate a lack of understanding of the system as well. While the sincerity may be certainly real, the reality is it's going to keep happening again and again and again, just as it has been happening and continuing for the last 30 plus years. Any monetary settlement a family may receive does nothing to positively change the system to ensure that adequate health care is actually going to be delivered to inmates. What will occur is a tightening up by the Departments of Correction and contracted health care providers of their very policies and procedures and elements of their contracts with their local, state, and governments to close the very loopholes and gaps that cause the medical issues and death events to take place in the first place. That's the change that will occur. These permanent medical disabilities and death events that inmates suffer from are going to continue to take place. Your loved ones will keep suffering. Your loved ones will keep dying. No meaningful change will actually occur until families step up and do what needs to be done on behalf of that inmate. There is much you can do, there is much you should do, and there is much you don't do. Said another way, you, the family member, has to be the CEO, president, secretary, and treasurer of that inmate, because that inmate isn't going to be able to do what needs to be done on his behalf because the system isn't going to allow him to do so. The goal since the 1970s and continuing on to today is only one, that of cost containment. And that cost containment is aggressively and relentlessly pursued and achieved by giving the facade of adequate health care without ever providing it. For example, an inmate diagnosed with a brain tumor is treated for a migraine headache and prescribed Tylenol. Or an inmate that has a history of heart problems presents himself to medical with chest pains and is given Prilosec, sent back to his cell to die. That's the facade of adequate health care. You can't say the inmate isn't getting health care because from the system's viewpoint, he is. He's just not getting the right health care. He's not getting the sufficient to the need health care he is in need of. We call this facade of health care channelized and sanitized health care delivered by Teflon tactics. All of these events are preventable. You, the family members, have the power to prevent them. You just don't know how. The sooner families and inmates wrap their head around that reality, the better equipped they will be to actually effect some meaningful change and obtain the health care that their loved one is in need of. That's what the Institute is here for. We are here to help you save lives. In our next video, we'll talk more about this. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to let us hear from you, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and check out our website.